Jorge, thank you so much for chatting with me about why you call Arkansas home. So let's go ahead and just get started. Why do you live in Arkansas?
Well, Arkansas has always been very welcoming, even from when we first moved here in '05. I always found the place to be obviously naturally beautiful and a great city.
So you moved here in '05, and where did you move from?
So we were living in Pasadena, Texas, and then Hurricane Rita happened, and we moved to Dallas for maybe 3 months, and then we had some family up here in Arkansas, and at the time there was not a lot of uh, Latinos. Or maybe there was, but not a lot. So my aunt moved up here and started a business, and my mom's like, "Oh, you guys we should go visit." And then we just ended up falling in love with the region and the city and the state because we did travel, to the lakes in the summer and the downtown during the summer as well, actually. Spring for downtown, and then the summer obviously it gets hot. We'd go to Lake Conway or Heber Springs or um but yes, from Texas.
So you came here because of the hurricane displaced you. Your aunt was living here. How old were you when you moved and did you move to Little Rock?
Yes, we moved to Little Rock, Arkansas, and I was about 8 or 9 years old at the time. Might have been
Oh,
10. Yeah.
so
I was in
young.
Oh yeah, I was a child. I didn't really have much to say, but I definitely was happy when we arrived because it seemed to be like a lot of trees and mountains. Texas is pretty flat, and I love Texas, obviously, but we fell in love with the nature state.
So you were a kid, you moved to Arkansas, you see all these trees and rivers and low mountains.
Oh yeah.
What did you end up doing when you were a kid in nature? Like, did you have any memories of growing up about, this the space or the place specifically?
I remember in fifth grade, David O'Dodd. Now it's actually closed. I don't know if are you from Little Rock?
No, I'm actually from East Tennessee.
That's awesome. Yeah, from Little Rock, there used to be a school called David O'Dodd.
Mhm.
I remember I think he was some type of messenger during the war. I don't know. He was a gentleman that got a school named after him. It's closed now, but we moved there, and yeah, they obviously there was a teacher that was always all about nature. Like he'd ride his bike to work, and it was actually kind of interesting. But I remember my first memory is like I think it's Lake. I haven't been back to that park, but I think it's like Park Maumelle. I don't
Yeah.
know
Hmm.
here. So we did last day of school where like, the school takes you out to visit, a park or something. So I remember that was a good memory.
What did you like about that?
Well, just being able to get out and hang out with your friends in nature and, get to do stuff out of school and
Right.
that was a lot of fun.
So, Jorge, have you stayed in Arkansas since you moved here? Have you left? Have you
Well,
just remained?
I went to 7 different elementary schools before we ended up here. So we
Oh.
moved a lot. So I was born in Brownsville, Texas, but then we lived uh in 3 different states and a number of cities all over Texas. Texas is huge. I mean, I'm sure you know
Mhm.
that. So we 7 different elementary schools and finally ended up at David O'Dodd. So we lived in Arkansas, Nebraska, Texas, and then we moved to Mexico for about 6 months when I was in first grade. So after we came, my mom was just set on like staying here. So I stayed here and did I went to Little Rock School District and then I went to Bryan for high school. And then I enrolled at UALR. I remember I was there for a couple semesters and then I don't know, I kind of was like, all right, I think I feel like I need to explore a bit. So
Mhm.
I moved to Spain for about a year and just kind of explored there. I got to visit 2 countries while I was there. So it was a lot of fun. And then I came back to Arkansas and just kind of came going back. I went to Europe back like 4 or 5 times just because I was really interested in I was just kind of fell in love with the culture of traveling. You get to
Mhm.
really get to know yourself and you get to, meet people from different walks of life and kind of learn about the different issues that other countries have, and makes you really grateful for your home country. I mean, at least for me, like I was abroad, I was American before anything, so I thought that was really neat because growing up here, it's like being Mexican American is such a unique uh identity because it's like to Mexican people you're American and to Americans you're Mexican. So it's kind of
Mm,
like, a lot of it is figuring out that it's, you can appreciate different cultures. And I've never been, the one to be not proud enough to. I've always been proud of being Mexican American. So, but in America, and when I was in Europe, I was American,
mm.
and before anything, I thought that was pretty cool. Um, but so I did move away for about a year.
Wow. So you have seen, it sounds like quite a few cities, and especially even, living abroad and seeing big metropolises in Spain, I'm assuming. So
Right.
what made you come back to Arkansas?
I always found it interesting the direction that the region was going. Like I remember growing up not being a lot of places to hang out at. Even when I was in high school, I remember we used to just go hang out at Park Plaza because that was what kids did in southern cities is go to a mall. But
Hmm.
um, I remember when I got my first apartment in downtown Little Rock. It was a studio off of South on Main, and just kind of it was cool to be able to have the experience of a big city in a small city. So I was kind of
Hmm.
like, oh, it was, I used to like walk all over downtown and um, just kind of visit the different neighborhoods. I feel like once you really start to see like the city for like the different neighborhoods, like I don't know, it's you appreciate it. So it's like, you have
Hmm.
different communities within the city. So I really found it. I thought it'd be a good place to come back and give back to because I feel like I mean I know it sounds cliche, but it's like a lot of the opportunities that I've kind of capitalized on and that I've gained from it's like people making the effort to make that space for me. So like growing up, there was a nonprofit in Southwest Little Rock off of Geiger Springs called La Casa,
Hmm.
and they used to have they used to have a computer lab, and then they used to give out certificates for people that needed food, and there was a guy there, a director that had programs for kids. So I was like 13 or 12 or 13 when I got involved with them. So we would hang out after school, and they would help us with homework, and we would like had events that we would all participate in at La Casa, and then I remember we performed downtown at the First Community Amphitheater as well for a Cinco de Mayo event. So it was
Hmm.
that was kind of like my first experience with nonprofits in the community. So that's kind of when I started to realize that there's people that are intentional about their goals, and I mean I guess the goal I can't even tell you the mission statement of La Casa, but I know that definitely we're a product of it because they were really hard at the time. It was Stamp Out Smoke that was very popular, so we were doing stuff that advocating for not smoking, but it was like the sense of community and the sense of like even professional skills. At 12 or 13, I had no idea what like that even meant, but I just know that like, oh, everybody's hanging out, and it kept me off I mean, I hate to say it, but like off the streets because it was, Southwest Little Rock. It's an immigrant community, so we grew up there, and um, it's always good to have those places where kids go to and are able to, without knowing further their skills. Because I mean, I feel like a lot of my social skills and my understanding of events and the community and like initiatives, a lot of it stems from that experience at La Casa at like, I was in sixth grade. Sixth grade. So that's one of the reasons why I came back. I saw that there was a need to create more opportunities for the community, and uh, I figure why not contribute to the city that kind of has helped shape me and the region, shape me to be the person like who and yeah, that was primarily the reason. And family has always been very important to us. So I wanted to be close to family, and I saw no reason why not to, given where it was growing. Because even the time from when I was in South on Main, like the number of restaurants and distilleries and coffee shops grew a lot. So I was like, oh yeah. And if you really like, you see like the regional area for like what it is, like the growth in Northwest, the growth in Conway, the growth in, all these big cities, like everybody's paying attention to, how can we make our downtowns better? How can we make our business community better? So I was like,
Mhm.
I just kind of I saw the opportunity and I took it and I'm like, I need to contribute back to the place that has helped me grow as a person. So it
That's
made no
really
sense
cool.
to go anywhere else.
That's really cool. Thank you for sharing that with me. Do you think you'll stay in Little Rock in Arkansas?
I think I mean, I'm 28. I think I'll be here for a little bit. I always told myself that um, I want to move away again because just the experience was very rewarding. Like I'm not even the same person I was before. Like I started to travel because I feel like what a lot of people don't realize about traveling, it's like you're meeting new people, but like I mean, and it sounds cliche, but you really are like getting to know a different side of you, like in
Mhm.
these experiences. Like I can't even remember like who I was before that, but it was a good time spending time away from family and from your home and just kind of really exploring and
Mhm.
seeing things through a different lens. So
Mhm.
to answer your question, I'm big on continuous education. So I think I might move away for a little bit, but I think you described it well. I did move back to set roots. So
Mhm.
I wanna I do wanna continue that, but at the same time, I think growth is important. So I definitely want to move again. I don't know if to Europe or another city in the States, but it's always something that I consider just because I don't know if it's our generation, but definitely traveling is it's a something that we prioritize a lot for that reason because there's tremendous benefits to your mental health and you as a person when you take those. And it's challenging going somewhere where you don't know. And I mean, I've traveled by myself. I've traveled with a girlfriend. I've traveled with friends. Like it's always a different experience, and it could be scary at times. I remember my whole family was against me moving away, and I'm just like, I don't know, I had to because it's those are the decisions that really I think are the most beneficial, the ones that are trailblazing.
Yeah, and you experienced so much and you came back.
I
And
did.
so you're using the things that you learned elsewhere also to help your community. Um, Jorge, just a couple more questions. How would you describe Arkansans?
I think that it is Arkansans are very I don't know, I want to use what's the word? How would I describe Arkansans? I think we're very optimistic, very committed to the well-being of the city. It's just the people that I've surrounded myself with, but I see everybody making the efforts to make a place better. And it's always you can say some people would even go as far as saying that it's I don't want to say naive, but I think it's better to be optimistic than to have that to be able to manifest that type of place because it's feasible. I mean, we've seen it done in many down. I just got back from Oklahoma City. They were opening up a Mexican consulate there, and we got the chance to kind of be there for the inauguration. And it's like, all it takes is the right people with the right intentions and, consistency and collaboration and to be able to build something, that
Mhm.
could be beneficial to the city. Because I mean, when the businesses are doing good, the schools are doing good, the community has a good quality of life, has a good sense of community to begin with, because that's something really hard to replicate is to create that sense of community. And I feel like a lot of people, not anybody in particular, but in recent times, from an academic standpoint, there has been a sort of like a disconnection, like people going away from each other just because of social media and all these different things. So anytime you're able to create that atmosphere of community and belonging and inclusivity and solidarity. I mean, it pays dividends. Like we've seen it in Northwest Arkansas. We see it in a little bit in Conway, and it's like now, Little Rock, North Little Rock, taking the efforts to, assure that people know that, we're setting the narrative to have a good region, a good area where people can work at, raise kids, and have a good quality of life. Work is good, but also like um, having a good place where people can raise good
Mhm.
families, but raise their families healthy and prosperous is, I
Mhm.
mean, I think that's the simple and the hard answer. Really, what do they say? It's easy as simple as that. You have good
Mhm.
quality of life. You have, a place where people feel welcomed, and you can change a lot of things for the better.
Last question. What do you hope for Arkansas moving forward?
I hope you are able to, as I mentioned, create a place where people feel welcome, and we are able to create a prosperous and a healthy community, Central Arkansas community. I think that we have a lot of potential, and we have a lot of people out there that are advocating for the same thing. So I'm a big believer in synergy. I think that, things that grow together, grow stronger. So I hope that we are able to um, continue to build partnerships and educate and create access for everybody, and people are able to, be have a good place to raise their kids, and businesses are able to thrive, and it is a pretty ambitious goal, but I mean it's people do it all the time. I mean I'm a firm believer that you kind of find what you look for. So I think you really have to be intentional with, I mean, with how you um approach things. So I feel like if we're able to work together, and slowly but surely things will continue to get better. And I mean, I think Arkansas has done a great job um and creating these opportunities. Even the role that I'm in now, it's like somebody decided that I'm the first Hispanic ever to work at the chamber. So at the North Dark Chamber,
Wow.
first Mexican. So I mean, I don't want to be the last. That's why I think I take it personal. I think anytime it's a new role, it's almost it's a bit scary, but at the same time, it's exciting. So I always want to make sure that I do my research, I do my homework, I make sure I listen. A lot of it is just listening to the community and the needs, and make sure that we're taking the steps to help uh, help solve those issues. And there are more opportunities and challenges the way I look at it. But so I hope that we're able to do some good stuff for the state.
Awesome. Thank you so much for chatting with me, Jorge, about why you call Arkansas home.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you.